DraftKings Sportsbook is the best place to bet touchdowns. I have teamed up with DraftKings to bring you all your favorite ways to bet touchdowns as we start to wrap up this NFL season. New customers can turn $5 into $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets, the crown is yours. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code Sonnen, stay on the action, and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Love the thrill of live betting? Bet live on star player props and in-progress games right as they happen. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code SONNEN and bet just $5 on any wager and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's promo code SONNEN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, Conor McGregor, UFC White House. First off, does he have a valid contract? I'm going to guess no. Now, I would have guessed for you 3 days ago, yes, that he does. Conor coming out and claiming that the UFC doing a deal with Paramount voids his deal with the UFC, from a legal standpoint, is a stretch. However, if this is a case that a guy is going to make, then he no longer has a contract with the UFC. You've got to understand that. And one thing that you guys have never realized over the years, and I don't say that to Conor, but in 30 years, the UFC has gone to court one time. The UFC does not sue. They do not get litigious. If you come out and you go, hey, we don't have a deal, you don't have a deal. This is my opinion. So Conor making a statement that the UFC doing a deal with Paramount somehow voids his contract, while legally I would imagine is very weak. You don't have a deal. If one guy's making this claim, what are you going to do? You're going to go through the justice system and you're going to tie this up. So I'm just sharing with you. You can cut the guy. You can tie him up. You can do a lot of different things, but you can't book him. Right? You can't book him to a deal that he says does not exist. So while 3 days ago I would have told you that was crazy, when Dana came out publicly and pulled Conor's fight, let's go, oh, he really doesn't have a deal. Right? Conor's claim is that he doesn't have a deal and he's going to renegotiate it in February. Now, just so you understand why they would wait till February, Conor is on a suspension until February. The UFC would not do a deal with him until then. But the UFC cannot put themselves in a position where they walk into a deal with a guy that they've already promised to the world is going to be on a card at the White House. They can't do that. So the fact that has been pulled back does lend a credence to Conor's claim that he does not have a valid contract. We're speculating at best, but we got to deal with the pieces that we've got. We got a promoter saying you got no fight, and we got an athlete saying I got no contract. Okay, well, it looks like he does not have a contract. Number 2. Will Conor be on the UFC White House card? I can't really speculate on that. There's really not been a weirder time than this card. The card was going to be on July 4th, and I don't know the date off the top of my head. I can just tell you it's not on July 4th. The card was going to be in front of nobody, then it was going to be in front of 5,000 people, but those tickets weren't going to be sold. They were going to be given away. Now it's going to be the biggest event, International Fight Weekend. There's going to be 85,000 people there. We've got 2 massive fights rumored for the card. John Jones versus Alex Pierre, which I'm not suggesting for you is happening. I'm sharing how weird this is. John Jones versus Alex Pierre and Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Who's going to main event is a colossal undertaking, but I suppose it's a good problem to have. And then you have people that work at the UFC as announcers that are going out and telling the public that there's going to be 7 world title fights. The one thing that Pierre and Jones and Conor versus anybody have in common is they got no titles. So I'm only sharing for you, this is the weirdest speculation of a card that we've ever had, and we're going to get some clarity beginning next week. So is Conor going to be on the card? According to Conor, he doesn't have a contract. According to the current drug testing agency, he's suspended. According to the UFC, he has no opponent. So if you put all of those three things together, yeah, it's a pretty good guess that he's going to be on the card. Now the question becomes, what do you do with Michael Chandler? And this is the most interesting of all of these things. Okay. Now, but they all tie together. What do you do with Michael Chandler? Chandler's getting used as a pawn in a possible public negotiation that's going on over a contract that is now being disputed by the principal, which is Conor, who allegedly is wanting to be used by the promotion on a very big card that is at the White House. So all of these things tied together. The exact statement that was made for Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor is now, that fight's 2 years ago. Now that sounds cool when you say it. Like it sounds like, as a matter of fact, that is kind of a stale fight. Until you're confronted with what is 2026's idea. There is no idea for Conor. Like there is nothing in the company or the sport that involves McGregor. So the idea that, well, we're not going to do Conor and Chandler because that was 2 years ago. If that's old news, then it's only old news if there's new news. So what would be the new news for Chandler or for McGregor? And there would be none. And that's where you realize that the old news is the news, but something else is at play here. There is a game of chess going on, and Chandler is getting used as a pawn. So if Conor were to fight on the White House card for a company who he's currently suspended by on a contract that he claims does not exist, yeah, of course he'd fight Chandler. Who else would he possibly fight?